Hey there, I'm the Spectre, and Super Mario 3D World was a damn good game. The level design was absolutely phenomenal and inspired, the soundtrack was incredible, and it had multiplayer in a 3D game. Back in 2013, this blew people's minds harder than your mom blew me last night. For these reasons, the game received tremendous praise at launch, getting a 9.6 from IGN, a 4.5 out of 5 from GameXplain, and a 93 on Metacritic. Everyone and their cat, get it, were playing and loving this. And then it all stopped. Slowly, over time, people stopped calling this game a gift from God, and now refer to it as nothing more than an alright Mario game that should have been more. Meanwhile, I'm over here still treating this game like it's the second coming to Jesus Christ, so I have to wonder, why? Why the sudden change in opinion? Today, I'm defending Super Mario 3D World and analyzing why its popularity plummeted. Before we discuss why the game isn't as praised as it once was, I feel like we should discuss the reasons why it was once so praised. First things first, the level design was phenomenal. Not only is each and every level polished and fun to play through, but each and every level feels inspired. Outside of the last few worlds rehashing levels, nearly every level in the game feels unique and inspired. Yeah, you got some generic levels thrown in like Really Rolling Hills, Contour Canyon, or Snowball Park, but then you also have Switchboard Falls, Beat Block Skyway, Honeycomb Starway, Footlight Lane, A Beam in the Dark, and countless other ones that had memorable gimmicks and were overall a fun time. Another thing I loved about the levels in this game were their length. Most of the levels are very short, taking roughly 5 minutes to beat, maybe less depending on the level. While some may see this as a bad thing, as it prevents you from building a world, I see it as a good thing. None of the stages overstay their welcome. Don't like a level? You're in luck, as it will only last for a few minutes, and after that, you're on to another level that will hopefully, and probably, be more fun. One of 3D World's other amazing features is the multiplayer. It may not seem like much at first, plenty of other Mario games have featured multiplayer. The thing is, none of those were 3D, at least none of the main series ones were, causing multiplayer to feel unlike it has ever felt before. The third dimension also reduces the amount of chaos, albeit only slightly, for better or for worse. This is one of my favorite games to bring out when my friends come over. Yeah, there's no party mode, and no way to create level groups in the game, but it's easy enough to get around. Usually, I start a new file and play the first couple of worlds. It sounds like it would get old eventually, but honestly, I still adore the first few levels, and none of them feel stale, even though I've played through them countless of times. Even if they start feeling stale for you, nothing is stopping you from creating a list of similarly themed levels, playing them all in a row, and keeping track of points to have a competition of sorts. Think of it kinda like Coin Battle from New Super Mario Bros. Wii and U. Yeah, the game doesn't outright tell you what to do, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. Dust off that old creative mind of yours and have a blast. Another thing that makes this game great is the character selection. Every main series Mario game before this, save for Mario 2, has had either just one playable character or multiple characters that all play the same. In this game, each of the characters plays differently. Mario's all around, Luigi's slippery but has a high jump, Toad is fast but has a shit jump, and Peach can float but is slow. And the unlockable Rosalina is even slower but has a high jump and can do a spin attack. These characters really shake up the gameplay. Each of them feels distinct, yet similar enough so that it's hard to switch from one to another. Also, these characters implement a hidden difficulty setting. Peach has a float jump and is slower, making avoiding enemies and looking at what's ahead of you easier, making it the game's easy mode. On the flip side, Toad has a lower jump and is fast, making it hard to plan for what's ahead, making him the game's hard mode. Toad rewards players who are able to play Toad well with speed, which is one of my favorite rewards for playing well in games, as it feels good to move quickly and see you obliterate the level with your Sonic speed. Now that we've gone over why 3D World is great, let's debunk some of the reasons why people think it isn't great. I went ahead and read all the negative Metacritic reviews, and I keep seeing the same, mostly invalid points brought up. Let's start with the semi-valid smaller complaints. A big one I saw is that you're not able to run in 8 directions. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but in my countless playthroughs of the game, I never once noticed this, likely because the levels are designed with this in mind. I personally like the limited directions. is they make lining up for a jump easier, as instead of having 360 different ways you could possibly go, you only have 8. Another big complaint I saw was the camera, which also never bothered me. Not once in my playthroughs did the camera get in the way. Yeah, the camera cannot be moved by the player, but then again, the levels are designed with this in mind, thus making it far less of a problem than people make it out to be. The last minor complaint I saw was that it takes a moment before you reach your top speed, which sadly is a very valid complaint. It can be frustrating at times, but at the same time, it really isn't that big of a deal. And it most certainly doesn't ruin the game for me, nor should it for anyone. I don't know, maybe I just never noticed because I always played as Toad. Now let's move to the bigger complaints, the first of which is the game is uninspired, and I couldn't disagree more. As I stated earlier, each and every level, save for a few, feels unique and fun. I think this complaint stems from the fact that none of the levels are really all that fleshed out, but they aren't supposed to be. This game isn't supposed to be like the next 64 or the next Galaxy. It's supposed to be a casual new Super Mario Bros. Game, but with more unique level design and another dimension. Think of it like a big compilation of the smaller levels from Super Mario Galaxy, such as Loop-de-Loop Galaxy or the Hungry Luma levels. Just fun little romps that don't last too long, but are enjoyable to experience anyways. This segues nicely into the next complaint, and by far the most stupid complaint. It isn't a fully fleshed out open world 3D game like 64 Sunshine, so it sucks! I can understand someone wanting an open 3D Mario game, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy something more casual. This is a problem with a lot of people in games nowadays, focusing on what something isn't rather than what something is, although it usually plagues games before release as opposed to after. A good example of this would be games such as Mario Party 10 or Metroid Prime Federation Force. Instead of using valid complaints, which the games do have problems, many people focus on how, this isn't Metroid Prime, the old Mario Parties were much better. Sure, those statements are true, but they aren't really valid criticisms of the game on its own. I think the reason people started complaining about Super Mario 3D World after a few years after release was because everyone was expecting a bigger 3D Mario game on the Wii U, and when they didn't get that, they unfairly pinned the blame on Super Mario 3D World. Just because there isn't an open game to go along with it doesn't make the actual experience any weaker. Instead of ragging on 3D World for not being like 64 Sunshine, treat it as its own thing. I guarantee you your opinion will change, at least if you didn't think of it that way before. Overall, Super Mario 3D World is one of the greatest games in the Wii U's library. It had excellent and inspired level design, some of the best multiplayer the system had to offer, and, apart from a few flaws, is an overall super amazing experience. Here's to an eventual sequel down the line. This has been the Spectre, and remember to have fun, stay safe, and berate every 3D Mario game that isn't Galaxy 3, Odyssey 2, or Sunshine HD. Good God, Nintendo fans are entitled.